Welcome back, everyone, to Terror and Urban Myths. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this show. Tonight, we're headed to the vast moonlit plains of Venezuela. It's a place where reality and folklore kind of blur.
Yeah, a place where the stories, they're more than just campfire tales,
Yeah, they're woven into the very fabric of life.
Exactly. And we're diving into the unsettling legend of El Silbon, a tale that's both chilling and deeply ingrained in the culture.
Well, it's fascinating how these stories get passed down through generations.
Mm-hmm.
And they reflect the deepest fears and anxieties of a culture,
Mm-hmm.
like El Silbon,
Yeah.
with his haunting whistle and the sack of bones,
Yeah.
embodies the unease of the unknown. It's the darkness that lurks at the edges of civilization.
Okay, so our journey into this legend starts with Andrés. Now, Andrés is a young man who initially dismisses these tales as mere superstition.
Yeah.
He's visiting family in a small village nestled in these plains.
That initial skepticism is really common. You know, it's the rational mind trying to make sense of something that just defies logic.
Trying to find a reason. Yeah. An explanation. But we'll see. Andrés' skepticism is about to be challenged.
Oh, yeah. In a big way.
In a way he never anticipated.
So one evening, despite his grandmother's warnings about venturing out after dark, Andrés decides to take a walk across the plains. He's drawn by the beauty of this moonlit landscape.
Yeah.
The sense of youthful invincibility.
Yeah, I get it.
Masking any fear. But that peace doesn't last long.
No. The landscape itself is almost a character in this legend. The vastness of the plains, the isolation, the play of light and shadow, it just creates an atmosphere of vulnerability.
Right.
The sense that you're always being watched, always on the verge of being exposed.
So as he walks, the air grows heavy. And the silence is broken only by the rustle of dry grass under his feet, and then it pierces the stillness. A sharp, high-pitched whistle, mournful and chillingly beautiful all at once.
That's the signature of El Silbon, that sound that sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
It's a warning, a harbinger of misfortune.
And for Andrés, it's a stark realization that the stories he dismissed as folklore might be more than just stories.
Right.
Fear grips him, sending him into a desperate sprint back towards the village. The whistle echoes behind him, growing louder, closer. As if the darkness itself is pursuing him, he boasts into his grandmother's house, breathless, shaken to his core.
This encounter is a pivotal moment for Andrés. It just shatters his illusion of safety, forces him to confront the possibility that something sinister is out there, something that the rational mind can't explain away.
So his grandmother, her face etched with concern, confirms his fears. She knows the legend of El Silbon all too well. The story is passed down through generations.
Yeah. The grandmother's the voice of tradition, the keeper of ancient knowledge and beliefs.
Right.
Her reaction underscores the weight of this legend, its power to transcend generations.
And instill genuine fear.
In those who dare to dismiss it?
She tells him the story, El Silbon, a vengeful spirit condemned to wander the plains, carrying a sack filled with the bones of his victims. His presence heralded by that bone-chilling whistle. He's said to be the soul of a young man driven to a terrible act, forever seeking retribution.
Yeah. The imagery is potent, the sack of bones, the restless wandering, the haunting whistle.
Right.
These elements tap into primal fears.
Oh, yeah.
The fear of death, of the unknown, of the consequences of our actions echoing through eternity.
Andrés is shaken, but he's also intrigued. He wants to understand, to find some logic in this world of shadows and whispers. So he seeks out Don Manuel, an elder in the village known for his knowledge of local lore.
Yeah, seeking out those elders is a recurring motif in folklore. They represent a connection to the past, a living embodiment of traditions and beliefs that shape a community's understanding of the world.
Don Manuel confirms the legend, adding chilling details from his own encounters with El Silbon. He speaks of the spirit's connection to nature, his ability to appear and disappear at will, the subtle signs that foretell his presence.
This connection to nature positions El Silbon as more than just a vengeful spirit, but as a force intertwined with the landscape.
Right.
A manifestation of untamed power that can both sustain and destroy.
He tells Andrés that El Silbon's whistle isn't just a sound, it's a language.
Wow.
A series of tones and pauses that convey messages, warnings, and even emotions. He warns Andrés against mimicking the whistle, saying it could attract unwanted attention.
So there's a hidden language. This adds another layer of depth to the legend, suggests a complexity and intelligence behind El Silbon's actions that goes beyond simple malevolence.
Right. It makes you wonder, what is he trying to communicate? And who is he trying to reach?
Exactly.
Don Manuel also reveals that El Silbon is said to be drawn to fear, to the discord it creates in the natural world.
Interesting.
He explains that acts of kindness, respect for tradition, and a harmonious life can ward off the spirit's attention.
So fear as a catalyst. That's fascinating.
Right.
It suggests that El Silbon isn't just a random agent of chaos, but a force that responds to the energy we project into the world.
Yeah.
Our fears, anxieties, disharmony, these become beacons drawing him closer.
So, armed with this newfound knowledge, Andrés returns home. A mix of fear and determination swirling within him. He's no longer that skeptical youth who dismissed the stories. He's a witness, drawn into a world where belief and reality are intertwined.
It's a transformation, from passive observer to active participant, from logic and reason to one where intuition, belief, and tradition hold sway.
Right.
It's a human struggle to reconcile these seemingly opposing forces.
But a new wave of fear washes over the village. People begin to disappear, vanishing without a trace, leaving behind only whispers and speculation.
Oh, no.
The villagers are terrified, convinced that El Silbon is responsible.
So now you have disappearances. This tangible element of danger elevates the stakes and transforms the legend from a chilling tale to a real and present threat.
The community is forced to confront the possibility that the stories they've always known might have deadly consequences.
Yeah.
And Andrés feels a growing sense of responsibility. He's no longer just a visitor caught in a web of superstition.
Right.
He's a part of this community now, participating in their struggle against these unseen forces.
He's evolving from a skeptic to a protector.
Yeah.
Someone willing to confront the darkness, not just for his own safety, but for the well-being of the community.
Exactly. Driven by duty and this desire to understand, Andrés decides to venture back into the plains, into the heart of El Silbon's domain.
Wow.
He wants to find answers, to unravel the mystery behind the disappearances, and perhaps find a way to appease the restless spirit.
This is a turning point. He's choosing to confront his fears, not with blind faith or superstition, but with the desire for knowledge and a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
His journey becomes a search for meaning in a world where the boundaries between the natural and supernatural are blurred.
As Andrés ventures deeper into the plains, the landscape seems to shift around him. It's no longer just a place of natural beauty.
Right.
It's a realm of shadows and whispers.
Yeah.
Where every rustle of leaves could be the harbinger of something unseen.
Yeah, the landscape reflects that growing tension.
Yeah.
The familiar becomes unsettling. The natural world is imbued with this palpable sense of unease, like the air is holding its breath.
Right. And he remembers the stories, the warnings about El Silbon's ability to blend with the environment, to become one with the shadows and mist.
Right.
He's acutely aware that he's walking into a world where the line between predator and prey is blurred.
And it's not just about the physical threat.
Right.
It's the psychological torment. You don't know where he is. You're constantly feeling watched, hunted by something you can't see.
And then through the rustling of the dry grass, he hears it. Not the piercing whistle that sent him running before, but something softer, almost melodic. It seems to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, weaving its way through the tall grasses, carried on the wind.
That shift in the whistle is significant.
Yeah.
It suggests a change in El Silbon's approach, maybe a more deliberate attempt to lure Andrés deeper into his domain, to play with his senses, to heighten the fear and uncertainty.
She stops listening intently, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. And then he sees them. Strange symbols etched into the trunks of the trees, crudely drawn, almost primal in their simplicity.
Oh, wow. So now you've got these symbols. This just adds another layer of mystery.
Right.
It suggests a depth to El Silbon that goes beyond the traditional vengeful spirit.
Yeah.
Are these warnings messages or an attempt to communicate on a level we don't understand?
He examines them closely, trying to make sense of their meaning. They seem vaguely familiar, like something he's seen in old books or his grandmother's faded embroidery. He realizes they resemble ancient petroglyphs found in nearby caves.
Wow.
Symbols that predate written history.
So this connection to ancient symbols and traditions suggests a lineage, a history to El Silbon that stretches far back, linking him to a time when the boundary between human and supernatural was less defined.
Right, when stories and legends held a power that we've lost touch with.
Right.
And as he studies these symbols, a waves of understanding washes over him. He remembers a story his grandmother told him about a time when the land was ravaged by drought and disease. The villagers, desperate for relief, turned to ancient rituals.
Wow.
Seeking the intervention of powerful spirits. Could it be, he wonders, that El Silbon is not a malevolent spirit, but a guardian? A protector bound by ancient agreements to maintain the balance of nature? And could it be that the recent disappearances are not acts of cruelty, but attempts to restore that balance?
Right.
To silence the growing discord and fear that has permeated the village?
So this idea of ancient rituals and forgotten pacts adds a layer of complexity to their relationship.
Right.
It suggests a history of both reverence and fear, recognizing his power, but also uneasy about the consequences of seeking his aid.
He looks at the symbols again, not with fear, but with a growing sense of empathy and understanding. He realizes that he's been looking at Silbon through the lens of fear, seeing only the vengeful spirit, the harbinger of death.
Yeah.
But what if there's more to the story? What if he's not a monster, but a misunderstood protector, driven to drastic measures by the very people he's trying to safeguard?
This is a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
He's moving beyond good and evil, recognizing the complexity and nuance at the heart of these legends.
Right. He's seeing Silbon not just as a terrifying figure, but as a reflection of the community's fears and anxieties.
Exactly.
And as this realization dawns, the air around him stills. The soft whistling fades, replaced by an almost palpable silence. He knows instinctively that he's no longer alone.
This is it. The culmination of his journey. He's confronted with Silbon, but also a deeper understanding of the forces at play, the balance between human and the supernatural, the responsibility that comes with that knowledge.
He takes a deep breath, remembering Don Manuel's words about Silbon's connection to music. And then softly he begins to hum a simple melody, a lullaby his grandmother used to sing.
A lullaby. It's poignant and symbolic.
Yeah.
A return to innocence. Yeah. A gesture of peace and understanding.
As the melody fills the air, a subtle shift occurs. The oppressive weight that hung over him lifts, replaced by a sense of calm and serenity. The shadows seem to recede, the whispers in the grass fall silent. And in that moment, he feels a connection, a sense of shared understanding, as if the spirit has heard his message.
This moment of connection is the heart of the story. It's the power of empathy, the ability to... Exactly. It suggests that even the most terrifying figures can be reached, can be understood if we approach them with respect and a willingness to listen.
He continues to hum, his voice soft but steady, a beacon of peace in the gathering darkness. He doesn't know what the future holds or the consequences of his actions, but in that moment he feels a sense of hope, a flicker of light in the heart of the Venezuelan plains.
These stories, they remind us that even facing fear and uncertainty, there's always that possibility of connection.
Of understanding.
Of finding a way to coexist with the forces that shape our world.
The next morning, the village awakens to a miracle. The missing people have returned unharmed, with no memory of their time away. The fear that had gripped the community begins to dissipate, replaced by a cautious sense of relief and a renewed respect for the old ways.
This restoration of balance, this return to harmony, it reminds us that sometimes the most effective way to confront our fears isn't force or aggression,
right,
but understanding, empathy, and a willingness to see beyond the surface.
We started this journey in the heart of Venezuelan folklore, exploring a tale of terror and the unknown. But we discovered something much deeper: the power of understanding, the courage to face our fears, and the importance of listening to the whispers that surround us, both in the natural world and within ourselves.
These enduring legends hold profound truths about us and the world around us. They challenge us to confront our prejudices, fears, and our assumptions about good and evil.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of the Silbon's whisper. We hope it's left you with a sense of wonder and a renewed appreciation for the power of stories. Don't forget to subscribe to the show for more captivating explorations. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep listening.